Hey guys, you're glad to see me back, huh? I'm glad to be back. Yeah, I'm doing a beef stew part four. I keep revising it, but this is my handiwork. Beef stew part four. This is what I do. It's like I try to make a summary of everything. I want to go really slow this time, and just kind of tell you what I think about everything. There's a camera right there. Hey, yep. Hey, we're live on TV. No, we're going live. Yeah, no. Okay. All right. We're going to start with Billy Myers, the Billy Myers contacts. They used to have him back in Weekly World News. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, this Billy Myers. Yeah, hey." And they'd show pictures of like a dinosaur and these two dinosaur pictures. Billy Myers took pictures of the dinosaurs with StemJs and Asket. He took two pictures. It was a pterodactyl and it was a big giant like brontosaurus or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was real pictures. But anyways, Pleiadians and Billy Myers. Light speed barrier and time travel. Once civilization travels the speed of light, they can travel through time. Because it's just something about light, because our universe can't control light, so you can travel any point in space and time. Time collapsed a long time ago. It used to go in one direction, but now it collapsed. Yeah, twin universes, Dal and Dern. Dark matter and light matter. We're in the light matter, which is the Dern, and Dal is a dark matter universe. It has something to do with shadow people. Something to do with my brother too, I think. So my brother was like dark, and I was like light. We're opposites of each other. That was nuts, but we're still cool. We're so cool with each other, man. And my brother was a dark half, man. That's nuts, man. 7 times 7 cycles until the universe becomes a central universe. Our universe goes through 7 cycles and 777 trillion years life long. And that equals 4.5 quadrillion years old, which is the age of the universe. And the universe repeats itself 7 times, each time getting wiser. Just this is the way it works. And we went from the 4th stage into the 7th stage. You won't believe it, man. We went from green to purple. And it's like we're in the eighth age now. Believe it or not. We're at the end of time. Pleiadians lost in time and space because their craft malfunctioned and they got lost in hyperspace. Yep. Time travels in all directions. Infinity. Infinity space going in, infinity space going out. Big and small. Imagine you're going on a plane and you're going off the planet and you see the moon, you see the stars, you see the sun, you see your universe, you see your solar system. It actually goes very small too. The universe is a type of machine computer. There's some artificial things about our universe. Some artificial stuff about our universe that it can be explained by some type of physics that we can't. The physics works in such a way that time does not exist in light. Light is frozen. Time does not exist in light. And that's what they think. Because that's actually true. Because you can't time travel in the spirit world. And the spirit world is twisted. It looks like it looks like what you're dreaming. When you dream, you're in the spirit world. When you're unconscious, you go into the spirit world. The universe is a type of machine computer. The timeline goes around the bottom in a circle. It's half biological, half tech computer. The Pleiadians are from the future. There is no life in the Pleiadian star system in our time. It's a set of blue stars or 7 stars, but that you can see, and There's a few other ones there, but there's just 7 main ones. They call them the Seven Sisters. The Seven Sisters is something to do with Roman Greek mythology, like the 7 sisters of the Pleiadians. Pretty nuts. The Pleiadians are from the future, billions of years in the future. Yeah. And a dimension of 5 seconds outside of ours. And they've manifested for quite a long time, and they've been around. I heard a story. They're saying they're flying through the dark matter universe, and they found life. And they found another UFO flying around. Like, they didn't say nothing to the other UFO. They flew by it, and they're like, "Oh, They didn't say nothing to each other, but they knew they were there." Until later on, they got in contact with them. They knew they're the Pleiadians. I don't understand how their time works, but it's nuts, dude. Maybe it's just like you start mulling through time and space, and flying through time. That's like plastic. Okay. Jesus Christ equals 666. Jesus Christ equals 666. The name of the Antichrist will have correlations to the numbers of 666 in Jesus' name. All computers boot into 666 sequences. 666 has something to do with AI and reptilians. Yep, it's pretty nuts. Something to do with artificial intelligence. And something to do with artificial intelligence. But yeah, there won't be an Antichrist because that got changed with the Montauk Project. They already knew that. The timeline got changed by the Galactic Federation, and they stopped some wars. They stopped some stuff from happening. Yeah, the timeline got changed by the Galactic Federation. The Pleiadians are part of it. The Andromedans. There's a whole bunch of people. Naguma, stuff like that. The Naguma are spiders. They're on our side. There's friendly spiders. And the reptilians, they don't get along with the reptilians, so like the reptilians try to make them look bad in the movies, like Independence Day and Starship Troopers. But they're actually our friends. They're friendly spiders. So if you see a big giant spider, be his friend. Okay. Wisdom is the greatest tool to defy time travel. If you be wise, you can go to a higher dimension. You'll get off at a higher dimension. And twin universes, opposite dark matter aspect. Everything that happens in our universe has something happens in the dark matter universe for it. It's very strange. We keep each other. They keep each other alive with. They realize time travel is real, but the dark matter aspect actually does something for it. The timeline is backwards in the dark matter universe. The timeline is backwards. It's not just backwards, but it's just kind of like in the events. But twin universes keep each other going. Dark matter is invisible, but not completely. Extraterrestrials have wars and conflicts. Yep, there's pirates. They park ships in the asteroid belt, and they come and fly in and bomb with missiles, and they try to get over this stuff, man. But I don't know why it happens. It's just, time travel is real, but if you get back to your homeworld, you gotta sit on the timeline of your homeworld. That's the rule, Even if time travel is real, you still gotta sit on the timeline of your homeworld. You make sure your homeworld is there and safe. Yeah, there was a war and conflict with extraterrestrials. I heard about it. It was some kind of a Koldak or coldest planet, coldest alien UFO contact. I remember the story. I read through it. He said the aliens contacted him. They told him the news of what happened on his homeworld, and they said the pirates are bombing. They parked in the asteroid belt and they came in and bombed. And Billy Myers said he was actually a real contact because they met Asket. They actually met Asket too. She was from the Dells. The Temers. And Temers and the Dells are two different, but they come from the same dark matter universe. The universe is alive and is some type of whale. It's a fish, and God's a fish, and he's a female in that universe. He's always going to be a female in this universe because he was always a female in that universe. Yahweh's a fish. Shiva's a fish. It's interesting. It correlates though. And they got Zeus, Poseidon, Ra, Seti. Alright. Before humans ever existed in the star system Lyra, scientists were just now creating humans. Some of the scientists were just walking sticks in a lab coat. Some were just grasshoppers. Some were just mantises or ants. And they had walking sticks in a lab coat. They were the first ones to create the first humans. They call Lyra because humans and cats are cousins. There's actually a race of cat people from Lyra. It's the womb of Lyra and the prism of Pleiades. It's called the womb of Lyra because that's where the humans were. That's where the human life started. And we went over to the Pleiades. Theo is from the Pleiades. And the Pleiadians are from the Pleiades. There's other races that are from the Pleiades. And the Elohim are from Lyra. So that's interesting. And they're actually, Yahweh is God, but he's a female in a man's body. There's 7 layers of life to everything. Everything comes in 7s. Billy was told he was going to lose his arm 10 years before he lost his arm. Yeah, everything comes in 7s and 9s and 6s and 3s, especially 9 and 7. 7 times 777 trillion year cycles, and that's the age of the universe. Our universe is 4.5 quadrillion years old. We're at that. That's what the point we're at. MJ talked about learning knowledge through brain acids and chemical education. If you can absorb knowledge this way through brain acids. If you put a brain acid, someone else, if you put like a brain acid for some person on your brain, you learn what they learn. But I don't know, just they have a way of doing that, a special scientific way, but. The Pleiadians took Billy to see the dinosaurs and he took pictures. Pleiadian beam ships deteriorated into nothing if the pilot goes missing. We went from the 4th age into the 8th age with Montauk. In 1983 they changed the timelines. The old timeline was lost. Greek mythology explains this. Our new timeline was completely based on the radio frequency of 435 megahertz of the color blue. The color blue brings consciousness into existence. They're focusing consciousness into CERN with the color blue. They are creating a new universe at CERN. This also makes our minds sharper. The stories of time travelers crash landing on a primitive planet and helping primitive people out. The Pleiadians say the ETs from outside our universe bubble are made out of completely pure fine light. The ETs are made out of completely pure fine light in that universe, outside our universe. They visited these ETs. But yeah, they're completely made out of pure fine light, which is very interesting because outside our universe, it's a big giant swirl of energy or atom. That universe is a big giant atom, and everything in that universe is made out of pure fine light. Yeah, the Pleiadians visit these ETs. It's really interesting. And they're outside our time, so the time doesn't exist. You know, like if you understand that, like you can time travel, which is insane. It's real, so everything's meant to happen on the timeline. So once you get off the treadmill, you'll be like, oh, I'm out of time now. Nice. The outside universe is a giant swirl of energy or atom. The domain comes from outside our universe. That's what they're talking about. The grays, they come from outside of the universe. And they don't really concern themselves with time, because time doesn't exist in their world. It doesn't matter to them. There was 5 migrations of Lyrans on Earth: Germany, Israel, Armenia, Atlantis, and Lemuria. And there's just like 23 races that are totally on Earth with the extraterrestrials. Yeah. Some just appeared out of nowhere, they just materialize into our universe after a certain amount of time. Yeah. Shadow people, we're ancestors of we're descendants of the shadow people. Yeah, human beings, we're actually descendants of shadow people. Yeah. Okay. Atlantis and Lemuria were run by Pleiadians, and I don't know how true that is. This is just the Pleiadian notes. Semjay and Asket were Billy's 2 contacts. Semjay and Asket were Billy Meyer's 2 contacts. Jesus didn't die on the cross. They gave him a potion that faked death. He lived to be 120-something and moved to India, had several children. He had several daughters in Japan, too. I think Jesus was Enoch, Elijah, and several other biblical characters. And Semjay said this is really hard to explain, but it's actually true. Yeah, Jesus was several different biblical characters in the Bible, major ones. And that's actually true. Jesus went a long ways in his life. He went a long way to serve God and make sure this world is a good place. It took that programming to create life for the Son and the Father. Yeah. Okay. And when we're talking about dimensions, we're talking universes on top of universes, universes below universes, universes side by side. Time is unidirectional and travels in all directions. It can travel to any point in time and space possible through hyperspace travel. Billy was told by the Pleiadians that he was going to lose his arm in a bus accident. They told him 10 years before it happened. There's stories of time travelers protecting genetically altered humans on Earth that were Earth's human ancestors. That's where Earth's human ancestors came from. Okay. The Earth's early ants, the people who on Earth a long time ago, they were enhanced with reptilian DNA, so they were slightly aggressive. And this is true. They're being protected by time travelers. There's actually some people who are on the Clarion planet that behind our moon. They're gonna go back in time on Earth, and they're trusted with doing this. They're gonna be our ancestors, and and Clarion. They run a very aggressive mind control operation. But there's time travelers protecting the Earth's early humans, and they got they're part reptilian, but they're very smart, and they're enhanced mentally and physically. Everything down to the tiniest pebble serves a purpose in this universe because it's on the timeline. Everything belongs there. If you move something out of place, it could disrupt things. Because like as they said, everything serves a purpose, and you got to respect people's free will. Everything is meant to happen because it's on the timeline. They also have to respect people's free will, like I said. Our universe is like a video game. Our universe is like a video game. Time travel is like cheating in the video game. Time travel is a hack. Billy Myers and Semjays were visiting in a barn. This one kid tried to take a picture. I think he flashed the flashing. But Semjays tripped over a space wire heater, fractured her skull, pressed a button on her belt, teleported back to her beam ship. Her colleague found her a few hours later. He took her back to the homeworld. He had to cut parts of her brain off because of swelling. They had to freeze her body. They told Billy SMJ's died. Later they brought her back, and she had artificial brain parts from the Temurs or Timoria. Interesting. Stands for timers. Billy got to meet up with SMJ's one last time. The Pleiadians are because she had to take it easy from now on. The Pleiadians are from billions of years in the future, and from a dimension of 5 seconds outside our time. The number 6 has something to do with it. No, hold on. I'm gonna say, yeah, SMJ's she tripped over a space wire heater, and she hit her head and fractured her skull. And she almost died, and they had to freeze her body, and they gave her artificial brain parts from the Timorias. It stands for timers, and they're from the dark matter universe, and the Asket was helping with that. And they brought her back, yeah. And yeah, SMJ is real. They brought her. She didn't die, but they brought her back. Yeah, and it's really interesting. When you freeze the body, I think that freezes the quantum fluid too. So that's it. Yeah, so, but they brought her back. I'm glad because SMJ is cool, man. I remember her like just hearing how she moves, and like she really knows what she's talking about. She's really benevolent. It's just really awesome, dude. All right, the number 6 has something to do with AI. The number 9 is the number of atom or energy. Humans work in the number 9. Machines work in the number 6. There's lots of extraterrestrials who use cyborg body parts. Greys, Anunnaki, Nazi, Elohim, Nephilim. Okay, the Elohim are a subrace of the Theuba. And the Anunnaki or Greys are a subrace of the Elohim. And Nephilim are a subrace of the Anunnaki. And they all use time traveling robotic body parts. And but that's what it is. They use the Greys. It's kind of like the Greys. You know, the Greys use like robotic parts. Yeah, the Nazis. Did you know there's cyborg Nazis? There's actually cyborg Nazis. Okay. It is believed the Pleiadians live amongst us. They are secretly working with our government. There's codes written into everything because of time travel, time and space. The universe and the timeline is always creating itself all the time. That's the creation of time and space. That's called the Chronos trigger. There's a crop circle of it. Our dimension usually goes to the highest frequency. It depends on how wise you are. You can't tell this is happening because you sleep. But yeah, they show this trigger. It's a trigger. It looks like a trigger. And when it pushes on the trigger, it causes the dimensions to go to like the higher frequency or the lower frequency. It's got to have balance, but the Chronos trigger is a creation of time and space, and it happens all the time when you sleep. You can't tell. If you could tell it happened, it'd be very violent. But it's a creation of time and space. It always goes to the highest frequency. Highest frequency. Yeah, it's a trigger, and it looks like a telescope. It looks like in the inside of a telescope. We're gonna go to Andromedans and Alex Collier now. Hopefully, I can switch over here. Alex was a Templar Knight in his past life. Alex was very legit. I believe him. The Greys came into our universe in 1932 when the Nazis tore the fabric of space and time with the Philadelphia experiment. The reptilians came from another universe. The Pleiadians and Andromedans have a peace treaty together. The Andromedans said not to trust the Pleiadians because they're not spiritual warriors. The Pleiadians are kind of selfish, a little bit. Most men won't make it in the future. Men will be loved for their feminine qualities. And women will be okay, but most men will have a hard time. Andromedans are also from the future. Wormholes are tunnels of focused time, galactic highways. Yeah, wormholes are highways where you can travel places, and they're just tunnels of focused time. Alex told a story about how extraterrestrials who came to Earth got captured in Sioux City, Iowa. The government removed his organs while he was alive. So that race was going to overthrow the entire government of Earth, but they decided not to. This happened in Sioux City, Iowa. This is an actual story. It's crazy what happened. A group from U.S. Space Force already conquered a planet using time travel. Yep, a group from U.S. Space Force already conquered a planet using time travel. Space Force did that, and they got a distress signal from the space colony, and they said it was already too late when they got the distress signal. They got a distress signal, and it was from a space colony. It was just like it took a long time for it to get out. And they finally got it, and they realized what happened. They couldn't do nothing. Space Force did that. They have spaceships twice the size of Earth. Humanity is stuck in third density. We will never go to fourth density, and our genetics were set that way. We're not meant to be spirits. That's just the way it was. We were not meant to be spirits, because we're meant to be in third density, live eternal life in heaven forever with Jesus and Yahweh and Elohim. According to Alex, Mars is actually twice the size of Earth, and Earth is actually 4 times bigger than originally thought. Yeah. Andromedans call the sun soul. They call all suns soul. They are fruitarians and they don't eat meat. They are fruitarians and don't eat meat. They are not immortal. They are not immortal. They die. They are a fourth dimensional existence in a special realm which is invisible. Well, invisible. They die, but we live forever. Humans live forever because of what the extraterrestrials who are set up with us. In the fourth dimension, there's 2 suns in our solar system. There's 2 suns in our solar system. If you look in the fourth dimension, you'll see 2 suns. It took a reptilian race 36 years to salinate the ocean to control the fresh water. Earth used to be all fresh water. Then the reptilian race salinated the ocean, and it took 36 years to do that. And it's weird, dude, because you drink all the water on Earth. Not anymore. Mars' inner sun is cold and burnt out. Now Mars' sun is burnt out, and it's there's no life there, and they keep having earthquakes. They build space colony, they build underground, and they just keep having earthquakes, man. I don't think there'll be life on Mars ever again. Alex Collier said we need to help and restore, keep together family structures. Some people really miss that. So that's really important. I'm sure some people really miss having a family too. Remember the days when you had a family in the 90s and you didn't have to worry about anything? You go talk to grandma and go get some money to go get a pop or get some candy or get some food. Just go get some nachos, and grandma always took care of everything, and dad did too, and mom did too. And, those were good times, man. I can tell you a lot of good times, just like the love your parents had for you, He said the many moons of the outer planets are actually spaceships and have propulsion systems. Look at the pictures of them. They look odd. Yep, like some of the moons with Saturn and Jupiter. Did you know there's like 70 or 80 moons on each of them? And they're like huge. They're like so like they're shaped in like it's pretty much classified. You can't really see the pictures of them, but if you really get a look at them, man, it's nuts, dude. You'll be blown away by what they look like. And they have propulsion systems, and they look odd. The Andromedans are from 700 years in the future. They said in 700 years, pirate grades go crazy on us using weapons from our own breakaway civilization the Antarcticans Nazis built for them. The Nazi Antarcticans built weapons for the Greys, and it caused some problems. And the Andromedans backtracked and followed the footprints, and they found 700 years into the future some pirate Greys go nuts on us. There is no time travel in the higher energy dimensions. Now, no, just in the orange dimension, it's just a second. It's just a second. The second density. The fifth density. It's just in the fifth density where time travel doesn't exist. That's the orange dimension. Time travel don't exist there. Mars is a slave labor manufacturing center. There's slave labor on Mars. And I don't know about the moon, but on Mars it's a manufacturing center and there's slave labor. Alex said the New World Order take over for 8 months and then the people overthrow them. Probably sometime around November or in the fall time during the Lionsgate. July to September is the Lionsgate, and a lot of stuff always happens during that time. They don't know why, just something odd about that time. And events always occur. September 11th, the Queen died. Several other things happen. Something always happens during the fall time, and that's just the way it is. It's just like a mythological thing. There's a big giant ocean planet in our solar system used for genetically engineered ocean life. I believe it's Mercury or Neptune. They have big giant megalodon sharks there. Yeah, megalodon sharks, dude. Big giant dinosaur sharks. The genetically engineered ocean life there. God is actually a female and very real. They said the frequency from God has always been female. They've always there's no microscopic because we are on a timeline or in an artificial matrix. What takes place on a quantum level has a lot to do with the stars. There is no microscopic, like certainly in a certain way, because they did that light, the experiment with the light. There's a light experiment, and they found out that light doesn't split in a certain way if you watch it, and that's because we are in a matrix, and they look down at the most microscopic thing you can look at, the point where you can't measure it no more. They found digital bits. Yeah, they found digital bits. Yeah. So it's kind of strange because the quantum level, the microscopic level, has a lot to do with the stars. You ever wonder why the northern lights look like that? Because the microscopic, what it does, and the northern lights proves to us that the microscopic level has something to do with the stars. I can't explain it. Anyways, our existence in dimension is very heavy, tight, and focused compared to the A's, the Andromedans. The Native Americans are descended from the Andromedans. That's why they are the spiritual people. And the Native Americans used to have blue skin and red hair. A long time ago, they had blue skin and red hair. And they only have sex to have, the Andromedans only have sex to have children. Their mothership colonies are about the size of Earth, maybe twice the size of Earth, and They have parks, and I heard when you're in there, the ship has breath, and it smells really good, and it keeps it clean, and it smells sweet and clean. Their mothership colonies are about the size of Earth. They are huge and consist of levels. They have huge parks inside. When they looked at as small as you can see under a microscope, they found digital bits. Alex got in trouble once when he hit on an Andromedan woman. Two of our gas giant planets. One is a failed sun and one is a black hole. I think it's Saturn or something, like Pluto or Saturn or Jupiter. Yeah, Saturn and Jupiter. One's a failed sun and one's a black hole. The reason the black hole is here is because there's something to do with our existence. Like this, the Saturn Moon matrix or something like that. And it has something to do with like just our souls. And there's a mind control operation that goes on with that too. They have technology hooked up to it to do this stuff. And inside the moon, there's like a conscious propulsion system. And like Alan Adana was explaining this, there was a conscious propulsion system inside the moon, and you can only see it by teleporting into it. And pretty damn cool, man. The design of consciousness. Yeah. Yeah, Alex got in trouble once when he hit on an Andromedan woman. He made it past it, and he got big trouble, man. I heard two of our the gas giant planet that's a black hole is there because we're here. Yeah. Alex said there's an eighth chakra which is right above your head. Yeah, if you feel right above your head, there's an eighth chakra. Yeah. There's a seventh chakra and there's the eighth chakra. I believe Alex said we were not designed to be spirits. That's why the ghosts look so strange. Eternal life in paradise or heaven, that's where we go when we die. We live forever. Our soul is a quantum fluid that floats in our brain. And you can transfer that quantum fluid to a clone, a robot, whatever you want. I'd say a clone. But yeah, our soul is a quantum fluid that floats in our brain. Uranus and Neptune have some real strange anomalies about them. Uranus is tipped on its side, and everything is backwards on Neptune. The wind goes backwards, the elements are backwards. And Uranus is actually tipped on its side, and they believe Nibiru did that. When Nibiru came through, it tipped Uranus on its side, and somehow everything went backwards on Neptune. The 12th planet, Nibiru, is a spaceship observatory in our solar system. It passes by every 3,000 years. The last time it passed by was 2,000 years ago. It has gold in its atmosphere, and it gives off gold sparks. And the asteroid belt is the remains of a planet that got destroyed in a war. Its name was Melona. Our solar system is actually full of life. The planets are hollow, and it's teeming with life, like spaceships, everything. Our solar system actually has two suns. The second sun exists in fourth density. Time travel doesn't exist in the fifth dimension. That's the orange dimension. The fifth dimension is orange dimension. Time travel doesn't exist there, and it's really nice. I heard that. Yeah, you want to stay out of the red dimension because that's not a good dimension. Maybe when you go to red, orange, yellow, green, blue, those might be nice too. When extraterrestrials send communications across the universe, they use the stars. And when things teleport somewhere going outside our solar system, they always go to the sun first. When something teleports, it always goes to the sun first. That's how it works. The stargates. That's how the stargates work. There's a very friendly race of extraterrestrial insects that look like aliens on Independence Day and Starship Troopers. This friendly spiders. There's friendly spiders, big giant spiders. They're probably about 10, 15 feet tall. And they're big giant spiders, but they're friendly. Don't worry, they're friendly. They don't like the Dracos. and we made a peace treaty with them. And they look like the extraterrestrials on Independence Day and Starship Troopers. But don't worry, they're good guys. Yeah, but the reptilians are trying to scare us about these guys. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do Rail and the Evil Hound. These are the extraterrestrials from the Bible. Yahweh came down himself to give a message for Rael to give to the world. Rael got his brain enhanced with got a chemical education. Rael teaches everything how the brain works, how to be happy and have good mental health. Rael teaches how to perfect meditation. Raelism mixes Buddhism and Christianity together perfectly. Raelism is the final and ultimate religion. Here's my notes on Raelism. This just teaches you how to live right, how the brain works. It teaches you how to maintain, meditate, and how to be properly happy. I heard the Anunnaki are, well, I won't say that. Here we go. Notes on Raelism.
I know quite a few Raelians facts. Here's all the ones I can remember. Raelians facts are probably 4 pages long. Nothing like this has been done before. Jesus had a message of peace for primitive man: forgive and forget, and don't fight. Michael was one of the Elohim, Raphael was one of the Elohim's robots. Satan and Lucifer are 2 different Elohim men. Satan means most ancient and Lucifer means one who bears light or one who bears technology. Lucifer was more faithful to the success of humanity. Satan doesn't think mankind will survive. I actually walked past Lucifer or Satan in Pierre, South Dakota. I smiled at him cause I knew he was one of the Elohim. He smiled back. He had African skin and spiky black hair. To this day I never knew whether it was Lucifer or Satan. There is no such thing as time travel or folding space or wormholes. Palm healing involves UFOs and beams. Your DNA can reach to the sun and back twice. Your gravitational field has a signal according to your DNA unique to yourself and only yourself. The earth was completely covered with water and thick mist, and the Elohim moved the dirt into one continent via nuclear explosions which acted like bulldozers. This was Pangea. Later on, right before Noah's time, the continents were separated with nuclear explosions and they buried and tossed everything. No remains of prior civilization were found. There was lots of lava. Visions are thoughts impregnated into your head through waves. Jesus' apostles had this happen to them after Jesus died, to spread the message of peace. Jonah was swallowed by a submarine. Noah built a spaceship with the help of the creators. There was a couple from each race of humanity, and DNA from all life on Earth. There was no animals on the spaceship. The genetic experiment with creating life by the Elohim are also done in the universe by other species of ETs. When David fought Goliath, David used a slingshot to kill Goliath. Buddhism without mysticism is Raelism. Rael really teaches you how to be happy. Jesus, Rael, David, Noah, Moses and Samson were all half Eloah, half human. The Jews were direct descendants of the Elohim or Nephilim. There is 3 different types of Nephilim: the Elohim, the reptilians, the Greys. In politics we just have to put smart people in charge of office. The Star of David, the symbol of infinite. The triangle pointing down represents infinite inner space. The triangle pointing up represents the infinite large. Together the Star of David represents infinite. The swastika represents eternity, or everything is cyclic. The symbol of Raelism is the Star of David, with the swastika interlocked in the middle. The Star of David represents angular momentum. It also means all the dimensions. How do we know this? The Star of David proves it does. The 4th dimensions is time. The Star of David is the alignment of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th dimension. The Star of David is angular momentum. It is in all objects that have gravitational mass. The V's honeycomb is the same shape as the Star of David and it generates an energy field. There is an infinite on top and an infinite on bottom, the north and south poles. The waveform of gravity is a Star of David. The universe is one and infinite. We are one. Extraterrestrials create motion pictures on their own planet. The Elohim have a nuclear automobile race on their planet, which is interesting. They have a sport similar to football, they play naked. This cures the war instinct. Extraterrestrials don't want to meet us cause we need to pacify ourselves, we need to be more peaceful. Now you see why they don't want to meet us. As Jesus said, forgive and forget, and don't fight, the Our Father who art in heaven prayer takes on new meaning. We need to be more loving, then they will meet us. Yahweh said he remembers those ancient days. There are 3 separate humanities on other planets, we 3 are in competition. The Elohim use safe materials in their nuclear reactors, not plutonium or uranium, probably unopentium or element 115. People in space have no weapons on their craft, everyone is peaceful. The cross is wrong, because it is a symbol of torture. The churches should help the poor, that's what they need to do. Apocalypse is end of the world of the church, when everything would be understood, scientifically. Man lives 1,000 years with the tree of life, they are recording all of our thoughts. So think clean, and be one without sin. You should be very selective about what you watch on TV, and keep your thoughts heavenly. There's thousands of different extraterrestrial species in space that the Elohim had counsel with. It takes 10 minutes to travel to the Elohim's planet, it used to take months. The Elohim can travel much faster than 7 times the speed of light. When an Eloha is on Earth they can communicate telepathically with humans, when they are away from Earth they can't communicate telepathically. Meditation is where you do a brain focusing exercise. Meditation is the companion to mindfulness, it involves using your brain to its fullest. You have to focus on a shape, use the swastika, now focus on 4 swastikas. You can multiply it by 4 again, and again. You can eventually meditate on the shape of a grid, or 4 grids. That is very powerful focus meditation. This gets your brain stronger and stronger. The cross is the inside of a swastika, you can focus on that too. The guide to happiness is called the Watchmaker's Manual. The happiness is in checking your watch, take a moment to feel the moment.
Feel it.
The meaning of life is to live in the moment. The happiness is all about time, in the now. Use the exciting parts of your brain. You should probably be sober when you do this. This involves stimulating exciting parts of your brain. Focus on what makes you happy. It could be science fiction, fantasy, video game, cartoons, the grass or the sky. There is also purpose, like going shopping at the store, or cleaning house. It feels good to get these things done. Do this while being excited and happy. Think about what makes you happy and what gets you excited. When you're eating food, that's one of the best times to do mindfulness. The textures, the flavors, focus on that while you're eating the food. It works with drinking drinks too. Rail teaches you to give presents as much as you can. He teaches you to not have an ego and to feel and not think. He teaches you to break the habit of doing the same thing every day. The senses are where happiness lies to grow in that environment. That's why it's called sensual meditation. Listen to relaxing music. Rail talks about stimulating your senses to be happy. Listen to some relaxing music, or watch relaxing movies. Stop watching the news, be still and slow.
That makes a lot of sense.
Spirits do exist or energy bodies. Humans.
Okay. We're with that in a second. On realism stuff, pretty psychological, mental health. It's basic stuff, but you got to do it. It sounds stupid, but you got to do it. All that stuff. You got to doctors tell you to do it. It sounds stupid, but you got to do it. It's just psychology. It's like extraterrestrial culture, how they think of doing things. That's what I try to give you when I teach you people realism. I try to teach them how to get your mind right, how to be happy, how to just relax, just lounge around, just learn how to enjoy things, how to take the time to just feel and enjoy things. Yeah. Okay. Ariel and the domain. We're starting a new topic. Ariel and the domain. The domain rules over 3/4 of the known universe. 10,000 years ago, the domain conquered this galaxy. But the reincarnation operations keep going from the old empire. Earth technically is a ghetto planet or a prison planet. Earth is a prison planet or ghetto planet. 8,200 years ago, there was 3,000 high-class gray officers captured and sent to the amnesia reincarnation system. 8,200 years ago, there was 3,000 high-class gray officers captured and sent to the amnesia reincarnation system. They are amongst us today on Earth, and they were put to the reincarnation system. These were super grays, and this was where Shiva and Vishnu came from, and they're super smart grays. And they were treated like all the other prisoners and just sent to the reincarnation system. They are amongst us today on Earth. It is futile to resist the domain. The domain came from outside our universe, and they just choose to be in the isness, and they choose to be and be and be and Isby. Isby is a name for a gray. Isby is a fictional name for a gray given by Ariel. They are timeless. According to Ariel, the universe is 4.5 quadrillion years old. Imagine how Ariel's brain worked. This extraterrestrial Ariel they're interviewing. Imagine how her brain works, how fast she could think. And she was on Earth. It's like no gray would dare come down here to Earth and help this place out. No way it would ever happen. Because how bad it is, they would never come down and help this place out. Earth's population is mostly lower class grays. There is no old Empire Space Force in Earth's solar system, but their reincarnation machinery still exists. Earth is a prison planet with a psychotic population. The robotic grays have a type of internet built into their heads. Our universe is the leftovers of what a bunch of grays imagined into existence. Some of the grays are older than the universe itself. Some of the grays are older than the universe itself. Some were never born. Ariel talked about a large genetic engineering corporation named Yumi Krum and a company called Bugs and Blossoms who were responsible for bugs and flowers and microscopic life. Once they introduced a reproduction feature, these companies collapsed. The pyramids represent prison and emptiness. Where the pyramids are, that is where highly advanced civilizations once existed. On the continent of Mu, there was a pyramid 4 times the size of our largest pyramid. The Asians are descended from the Greys. Greys are part reptilian, part insect, part cyborg. Some are just a spirit in a cyborg doll machine body. People should not have to die. In the earlier times of the universe, everyone lived forever. Alright, here we go. This is my notes. This is my notes on
spirits do exist or energy bodies.
Interview.
Humans live forever in immortal energy bodies or spiritual bodies, but there is not a lot of spirits on Earth cause there's amnesia force screen reincarnation traps everywhere. When the universe was born, the Greys imagined everything into existence. There used to be magic. I'm sure some remember it in the back of their minds. The Greys are the creators of illusions. The Greys are older than the universe itself. They didn't mention time travel cause time travel does not exist. We are the masters of our own fate. The universe is one and infinite. If a human is lucky, they get to live forever on the planet of eternals. Some of the Greys are trillions of years old. The physical age of universe is 4 quadrillion years old. There was a universe before this one. That is where some Greys come from, but the universe is something alive, some type of living organism. The Star of David represents the connection of the third and fourth dimension. Technology gives us away. The frequency of pain and beauty is what traps all Greys to be born into a human body. They can enter the physical dimension through cyborg doll bodies and soft flesh bodies that have very good working nervous systems. The Greys use the robot bodies cause flesh bodies are so fragile, they are just a lot better for space travel. And Isby can leave and enter its doll body at any moment. There are different types of bodies, some are more machine than biological. They have different types of bodies for different purposes. There's soldier bodies, there's construction worker bodies, they do different things. The soldier body has very powerful weapons which can annihilate everything in its way. Most soldier bodies are usually remote-controlled drones. The construction worker bodies are very good at what they do. Their bodies are connected to the aircraft. Errol's craft got hit by lightning, causing her craft to lose control. They were checking on us cause our nuclear weapons testing. The alien interviewed in this book had a robot body, that's why it survived the Roswell crash. Its name was Errol. Some of the Greys have very likable personalities. There's a government called the Domain, which occupy 1/4 of the known universe. There was a company called Bugs and Blossoms, which helped genetically engineer life on planets. Microscopic life was also genetically designed. They did this many billions of years ago. The Greys would scout the planets and they paid the company to put life there. The Greys have many different hybrids in different parts of the universe. The Greys built the pyramids, with machines, when they spent some time on Earth. The stuff left by the extraterrestrials in Egypt were like a Western movie set ghost town left by a space opera culture. They can build all this stuff and move it with their spaceships, using a force field gravitational beam. The pyramids and stone-built structures represent emptiness, our totalitarian government. Egypt was a space civilization. The chambers in the pyramids ran to the Orion constellation. Orion region of space is occupied by Greys. The Asians are part Grey, that's why they look the way they do. There is different hybrids and breeds of the Grey race. Humans get their spirit from recycled criminal Greys. They erase their memories with a huge electric shock. The Greys that get recycled are from literally everywhere in the universe. They're all different and, all Greys, Earth is not their home, it's their prison. There was a battalion of 3,000 officers. These were all geniuses. They were all recycled on Earth. They are among us today on Earth. Some of them were reincarnated into whales and dolphins, so the Greys would track them. Most of these officers had been rescued, but they were quite the characters on Earth. Nikola Tesla was possessed by a Grey. That's how he came up with all those inventions, but only as a physical avatar or body. That was the Greys helping us. The Hindu god Vishnu was one of them. When a human dies, an energy body leaves the physical body. Some of the Greys are 80 trillion years old. Their technology is trillions of years advanced. The Greys get recycled on Earth, cause they are criminals. It's better to live forever. All people on Earth get their spirit from lower class Greys. Earth is a prison planet, and there is 3,000 high-class Grey officers who got recycled. I heard Krishna is an officer for the Domain again. He works in the 4th dimension or energy dimension. Extraterrestrial. When dinosaurs were on the Earth, there was a Velociraptor-type species that was the ancestor of the reptilians. The reptilians are 8 feet tall usually. A type of humanoid reptilian. I guess the reptilians ended up in Antarctica and it wasn't frozen. The Elohim nuked the Earth one time and buried everything with explosions. There was lots of lava. There's evidence all over the world of the use of nuclear weapons, lots of vitrified rocks, and glass in the deserts. There is evidence of 4 different submerged continents, one where Hawaii is. The islands of Hawaii were once mountains, Atlantis, Lemuria, and one by the Bermuda Triangle, where the Gulf of Mexico is. The humans nuked Antarctica cause there was evil reptilian creatures coming from there. Antarctica was their home. It flipped the poles, and the reptilians went into hollow Earth and underground cities all over Earth. The Earth is 40 miles deep till you reach hollow Earth. The aurora borealis happens cause the inner sun is radioactive. There's holes in the north and south poles. The radiation comes out of there. Humanity is 10,500 years old. The experiment on Earth has been going on for 25,000 years now. There was a super ice age 12,500 years to 10,400 years ago. The missiles or flood happened 6,000 years ago. The Vedic hymns took place 10,000 years ago and was about elite Greys, about 3,000 of them being born into humans. Earth is a ghetto planet, prison planet for lower class Greys. It's where they get reincarnated into humans. No one knows how or who runs these spirit transferring systems. The Elohim set up life on Earth. They were genetic scientists who created man scientifically and all life on Earth. They created everything ecosystem style. Some of the birds' feathers are so beautiful they have trouble flying. The Elohim are a benevolent humanoid extraterrestrial species. We should love them like our parents. The sun in hollow Earth has a day and night side and it is always good weather. The harvest is a lot more. There is 2 entrances to hollow Earth, one in a well in India and one in Tibet. There is a giant space-time rift which is the Bermuda Triangle. There is an extraterrestrial base there also. I heard some Nazis were trying to end the world of apocalyptic proportions, trying to play God, but some Andromedans stopped them, sacrificing their own lives. I also heard there is an antimatter device in the Bermuda Triangle that acts like a shield. It is a shield against malevolent extraterrestrials. I heard some racist Pleiadian rebel extraterrestrials crash-landed a UFO full of alien technology in Germany right before World War II to help Germany win the war. I think it was 1938 when that happened. There was a lot of Nazis who became CIA agents. The Germans didn't lose World War II, they became the New World Order. The reptilian bloodline is the German, Aryan, Bavarian, Scottish, Norwegian bloodline. I'm not saying all reptilians are bad, there's good and bad apples everywhere. There's one peaceful race of reptilians and they're all female. The highest tiers of the American government are fascists, like Nazis. Hitler didn't die, he moved to Spain, and there is absolutely no proof of Hitler's death. The last book Hitler wrote was called The New World Order. Some of the members of the SS were part cyborg and extremely deadly soldiers. The Greys are part insectilian and use plant DNA and use cyborg parts to enhance their function. The Elohim can travel much faster than 7 times the speed of light. It takes the Elohim 10 minutes to travel to their planet from our solar system. There is no such thing as time travel, folding space. Your DNA can stretch to the sun and back twice when laid out. Your DNA creates a gravitational field unique to each individual that vibrates at its own unique frequency. They say humans have telekinetic features. They can turn energy into matter just by looking at it. Animals can't do this, and they can heal with their palms. They proved this with microscopes. It's the human observer who does it. When NASA went to the moon, they brought back alien artifacts. They think the moon is an alien observatory for Earth, and of course it is. Extraterrestrial craft use a warp engine. It focuses on a point in space with a computer, then it pulls itself there at extreme speeds. It moves without motion, a type of telekinesis. It actually warps space. I heard UFOs might actually be able to travel in time. It's just a part of UFO technology. A black hole is a tear in space and time. It affects time also. The engines in a UFOs are shaped like a Star of David. It is also the Star of David is also the waveform or shape of gravity. The Star of David with a circle around it represents angular momentum, which is also anti-gravity technology and waves of energy. The Star of David with a circle around it creates a perfect circle smaller than an atom in the center of it. This is purple, the other 6 colors go around it. There is anti-gravity technology in the shape of the outside of the Star of David. I'm talking about the beehive honeycomb. The bee honeycomb has an energy field around it naturally. The reptilians want to put everybody into concentration camps so they can get the surface of the Earth back. There is trains with shackles for 100,000 people and big giant empty prisons with guards working there. The HARP was used during the LA riots. They said they were picking up strong radio frequencies around the LA area before the riots. They were trying to implement martial law then. The New World Order has very little time before humanity gets technology and their plans to enslave everybody fails. This is the Nazi New World Order. The Greys became completely cyborg and are bee-like aliens and are part of a hive mind psychic internet like the Borg on Star Trek. They are studying and experimenting on humans to prevent us from becoming like them. Yahweh is like Spock off Star Trek, the friendly benevolent extraterrestrial. Humanity has to follow the path of wisdom and get rid of its nuclear weapons. We have to build an embassy and think highly of our parents, the Elohim. If enough people gather and think of the Elohim, they will land and we will gain their heritage. We will take on in their footsteps, and Elohimization will begin. We will create a new humanity elsewhere also. We have to be more like the Elohim.
Okay, that was general notes on extraterrestrials, and before that, that was alien interview. Anyways, we're going on to the branching notes. Reports of reptilian cryptids. Yeah, there was alligator man, toad man, just reptile man. Reports of 8 feet tall reptilians in lab coats at Dulce base. Yeah, they seen a big giant like raptor-like reptilian in a lab coat. 8 feet tall at the Dulce base. Base underneath Denver Airport, Colorado. Yeah, something's underneath there. Reptilians appear to be a little malevolent. There's a peaceful race of reptilians, and they are all female. They are from the Boots region of space. Hitler didn't die during World War II. He moved to Spain and got plastic surgery. There's a hollow Earth, and there's lots of reptilians there. There's maps of it. The reptilians have multiple and powerful backbones. There were several assassination attempts on this author's life. I just know him as Branton. I know he's full-blooded French. There's a story of a few people were escaping a military base that had aliens working there. They had evidence and papers. They took a helicopter and got shot down by a missile, and they all died. They were leaving in a helicopter, and a missile got fired at them and took them down and killed all of them. They're leaving with alien documents, evidence, everything. Another story: a general got seen some extraterrestrials working for the government. This general had a team of Navy SEALs with him. The CIA sent assassins after this general, but the Navy SEALs ran them off the road and killed them. A long time, the general saw some extraterrestrials working for the government. And he actually seen it, and so they sent some CIA assassins after this general, but these Navy SEAls that were with him ran them off the road and killed them. Okay, it's nuts, man. A long time ago, there's Nordic giants who lived in the solar system Lyra. They farmed and harvested a bunch of food. The reptilians came through looking at all this. The reptilians had weapons, the Lyrans didn't. The humans and Lyrans did not have weapons. The humans got slaughtered and taken prisoner, where humans were genetically mixed with other species. The reason for the war was a miscommunication between the humans and reptilians. The reptilians were 30 feet tall. They were also titans. There's in the Lyra star system, there was a miscommunication between humans and reptilians, and so everybody's about 30 feet tall back then, and so the humans had a bunch of food. They were growing food, and they had food everywhere, and so they didn't have weapons, and so the reptilians saw this, and they had weapons, and they killed a whole bunch of humans, and they took humans prisoners, and they took the humans, and they take the humans and mix them with other species, and just have genetic experiments. There's child slave labor on the moon and Mars by Space Force. Mars is a manufacturing center. Nordics and reptilians have been at war for time and space for many thousands of years. Alex Collier describes the situation with extraterrestrials as a huge giant space battle. A big giant space battle, just big giant space battle everywhere. That's the situation we're looking at with the extraterrestrials right now. Yeah. That's actually true. You want to believe the stuff that's going on, man. That was actually reptilian notes. That's a Branton notes, but that's reptilian notes. It fits in the same category. The Montauk Project and Peter Moon. Our timeline is based on the radio frequency of 435 megahertz of the color blue. You notice the color blue. Your brain it feels blue. There's blood all in your brain, and you'll notice it feels blue right where your brain is. It just feels blue. It's like blood blue, you know. And they say the soul is in the blood, and your blood is blue before it comes out of your body. It turns red when it comes out of your body. It's actually blue. And yeah, it's just your soul's in your blood. And blueberries are good for your brain. They taste blue. And yeah, just blue brings consciousness into existence. All UFOs give off this frequency. The old timeline of 1983 and before, they said the old timeline was beautiful. Yeah, this was before 1983, and I heard it was beautiful. Greek mythology talks about this. They talk about time travel. There used to be more than one timeline. Now there's just one. There used to be 5 timelines. Now there's just one. Montauk was about restabilizing the universe. What they did was create a whole new timeline. It started with the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk Project to CERN, stabilizing reality. The co-author of the Montauk Project, Preston Nichols, said he built an amplified radio antenna for some people. It emitted the radio frequency of 435 megahertz at a really high level. They all went out one night and used this amplified radio transmitting antenna. They seen a UFO stop in the sky, jerked around, then it crashed. And they used that antenna Preston Nichols gave them. Preston Nichols also took an alien implant and hooked it up to a computer. He found out they're just us from the future. Yeah, Preston Nichols took an alien implant, hooked it up to a computer. He looked at the software on it, and he found out they're just us from the future. They're trying to create They're trying to create a God particle at CERN that will recreate the universe. They're focusing the universe into the new universe. They're focusing this universe. Oh, and at CERN, I'm going to tell you from the beginning. The Philadelphia experiment, to Montauk experiment, to CERN. They're focusing the universe to recreate the universe. They created God. They already created the God particle, but they're focusing this universe into that next universe. That's how it's going. That's why it's going so smoothly, and you feel everybody's really smart, you know, because this and where we're at now, everything's focused, so everybody has to be smart in this universe, or else it's die. You know, be smart or die. It sucks, dude. I lost so many friends, man, who are just gone. You know. I miss them, dude. Fuck. Okay. Anyways, they're focusing this universe into a new universe. You see how tight our reality is. The UFOs at the Battle of Los Angeles during World War II were actually Japanese UFOs. They were going to release something biological like a virus. The Japanese president at that time was actually obsessed with weapons. Yeah, but he built UFOs, and I don't know how he did it, but he did. The dwarfs in the Wizard of Oz are actual time-traveling dwarfs. And that's nuts, because you see that, there's no way they could have got that many dwarfs. Nikola Tesla worked on the Montauk Project after he died even. He was there. He was actually there working on the Montauk Project. Pretty cool stuff, huh? The Bermuda Triangle. The Andromedans got into a scuffle with some Nazis in the Bermuda Triangle. The Nazis were trying to play God, ending the world of apocalyptic proportions. The Andromedans stopped them, sacrificing their own lives. The Andromedans left an antimatter device in there. There's a 250,000 year long war going on between the Bermuda Triangle and our reality. There's 3 different dimensions on Earth in the Bermuda Triangle. One is just coming up, one is warlike, one is a forested planet not yet developed yet. It takes a powerful craft to go in and out of this dimension. Time does not exist in the Bermuda Triangle. It is purgatory. You never die, but if you get hit by a really hard blow, you can die. You can't tell the people in Bermuda Triangle that because they'll probably start hitting each other and killing each other. Start a disturbing trend. But that's how you escape, is just you get hit really, really hard. You never eat. You get stuck there in the desert. People who survive the Bermuda Triangle describe vortexes, teleportation. They describe the entire ocean floor coming up. But yeah, the Bermuda Triangle is a curse. There's animals stuck in there. There's people stuck in there. You know, it's just a curse. They get taken from North American parks and recreation areas, and they just get taken. And there's animals and there's people. They should all be, you know. I mean, they've been stuck in there for thousands of years, like maybe tens of thousands of years. And if they ever came back, they'd be insane, you know. So there's just nothing you can do, you know. No. Bigfoot. All right, here we're gonna talk about Bigfoot now. I watched a documentary on Bigfoot. It's pretty cool. I seen a ferry. They filmed the ferry on camera. And they filmed the ferry on camera. Bigfoot. Sometimes Bigfoot takes the form of a fairy to be cute. Bigfoot is a spirit extraterrestrial. He cannot be harmed by bullets. You can give Bigfoot gifts. He hangs around certain places. Bigfoot hangs around Indian reservations. Bigfoot watches us while we're in our house often. He was caught on film a few times. The government smears Bigfoot. When you are near Bigfoot, it smells like raw deer sometimes. I had nightmares about Bigfoot once. Bigfoot appears to be a fierce forest spirit. No one can ever get a picture of him. Bigfoot watches over us in spirit form as we live our lives. Bigfoot is a watcher. And Bigfoot watches us. He's actually in our houses, like just flying around as a little spirit and just watching everything. He's a spirit. He's a Iowa. Just one who watches and observes. But that's what he does, you know. He just watches over everything. I know why he does it. That's Bigfoot's job. Okay, interview with a reptilian woman. Okay, this is kind of interesting here. I added some more stuff here. Yeah. Okay, the shadow people materialized in 1995. She revealed the shadow people and said that their only purpose in the last trillions of years was to evolve in the shadows of the universe. She said reptilians are not pure evil, though, that we need to get rid of that belief. Reptilians migrated to our universe using black cube technology. Their universe's matrix was infected with an artificial intelligence virus that removed its people from self, lost, creating the reptilians. The reptilians are disconnected from Source, or God. They use AI black cube technology to conquer civilizations from the inside out. There's a peaceful race of reptilian species from the Boost region in space. They're all female. In 1995, I had an actual encounter with shadow people. Me and my brother were at some foster parents' house. We watched a movie and I played some video games. We went to sleep. And I woke up in the basement and there were shadow people dancing around me. So I got up and went to my bedroom and I thought someone was sleeping in my bed. So I went back downstairs and I went back upstairs and my foster parent came out and the male and asked what happened. And I told him, I checked my room. No one was in there. So I went to bed. There were shadow people though. I remember seeing shadow people when I first got up, you know, and I seen them dancing around me. I was like, am I really seeing this? I didn't think it was real, you know. So I was like, you know, shadow people have something to do with dark matter universe also. Shadow people have something to do with the dark matter universe also. Reptilians like to warm their blood in the sun. The scales on reptilians is based on digital bits. The chemtrails you see in the sky are reptilian gases. Why do they look like snakes? They're gas nuts with reptilian gases. Reptilians with very enhanced DNA have white skin color. When something evolves, it turns white, like an albino. White reptilians are interesting. The Greys even enhance themselves with reptilian DNA. On Jurassic Park, they said the dinosaur, the Indominus Rex, it was white. It was actually white. It wasn't like a normal dinosaur. It was a white dinosaur. That's nuts, dude. It's nuts. All right, Skinwalker Ranch stories. The family that moved in there, they moved in. They saw there's locks on all the windows, the doors, everything had locks on it, and I said everything had locks, and they're like, "Why does everything have locks on it?" So they took them all off, and so then they started seeing like big giant wolves, a 3 times normal sized wolf, and it was killing their cattle, you know. And they said they shot it once, and they said this guy emptied 3 rounds from his 357 into this wolf, and nothing happened. The wolf just walked away, and like nothing happened. 3 times normal sized demon wolf at Skinwalker Ranch. And so they saw their horses and their cattle were being killed. And when the first family moved in, they noticed this family moved in. They noticed this strange stuff. And one time it seemed like the sky was half of this sky, their sky, and half another sky. They seen UFOs flying through it. Yeah, and they think there's some underneath there. The government's covering up what's underneath Skinwalker Ranch, because they don't know what's under there. But the government's covering it up, what's underneath there. There must be something huge, something massive beyond our understanding that's underneath this ranch. Some type of Stargate or time travel thing. The cows kept getting killed. They said one time the sky was half their sky, another sky like a portal. I think this, what if it's an alien airport, There's some electromagnetic they detected underneath the ranch. I wonder if they've ever run ground penetrating radar underneath there. Find out what's underneath there. They just found that the pyramids in Egypt have something very huge underneath the pyramids in Egypt. They found out there's something very large underneath the pyramid of Egypt that goes down like larger than the skyscraper. It's metal rods. So that's interesting, huh? What they're discovering now. They're just now telling us this stuff, dude. And I wish I could, wish I could live through it in a good way, All right, science of the Star David. Angular momentum. 8 triplets equal 24. 7 times 6 equals 42. That's a very large Star David symmetry. Known as the flower of life. Appears during crystallizations of elements and matter. UFO engines are shaped like a Star David. UFO technology is based on this symbol. Anti-gravity technology occurs naturally in nature. This is how telekinesis works. Telekinesis is focused energy. Appears because our universe is underwater. The pyramid is the same as a Star David. The center of the Star David is purple. If you look at the geometry of the Star David, it creates a perfect circle, and the center of it is a little bigger than the size of an atom. A perfect circle a little bigger than the size of an atom. An atom is 99% hollow. It is held together by a string of energy. This string of the Star David proves you can connect all the dimensions, mostly third and fourth. Light comes from thought. Matter is crystallized light and energy. The number of energy is 3. The number of matter is 4. That's very cool scientific stuff I just pointed out right there. I did a good job just now. I didn't mess it up. Men in Black stories. In the 60s, there were stories of giant men in black with wings flying around on the east coast of the United States. Mothman took place on the east coast. Injured Cole did also. Men in black are time police for the new timeline. They are weird and wear outdated black clothes. I believe they are nano-machine robots. They can appear and disappear out of thin air. There is a connection between shadow people and the men in black. Sleep paralysis also has a connection. There is something strange about the color black. Black ops, black operations, some type of extraterrestrial police. The men in black are outdated. We're outdated and need no. Here, the men in black are outdated and need a whole new makeover or paradigm. They have so many holes in their software. That's why they wear those outdated clothes and drive old cars. It said they don't even have lips. I heard none of them are even human. They're robots, but they're outdated. They drive old cars. They are definitely time travelers. And they're outdated time travelers. They said the men in black are threatened Barney Hill. They made a penny and disappear in his hand. And disappear in what? Little while later, Barney Hill died. They believe he was assassinated by the men in black. The men in black are controlled by the women in black. Every culture gets taken over by its women. The men in black are trying to recreate a masculine empire like Rome with America. The reason for the lights in Phoenix, Arizona, was because Phoenix is going to be a capital in the future. The men in black are trying to prevent women from overtaking society. The men and women in black come from a certain star system. They have a home world. Women dominate. They have a home world. Women dominate society in every future. Every time in every culture, women do dominate. They take over. And yeah, the men in black. The men in black are trying to stop the women in black stop women from taking over our society. They're just doing that for some reason, but it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, most of them are robots. You don't want to know too much about them. They're robots, and they're nano machine robots, so they can appear and disappear anywhere, and they can deteriorate, and they can come back anywhere where they choose to please, where the programming puts them. Yeah, it's really interesting. So if they don't have lips, and pale skin, old outdated clothes, old cars, some even, I don't know, it's crazy stuff. Alright, we're going to get into Theob of prophecy. God, or Theo, is on her 220th life. Everyone has 9 times 9, 81 lives, and many more. Some people have many more lives than just 81 lives. They have like 120, they have 220, 320, 400. But yeah, you have all these aspects. And everybody's different, yeah. But we're all based on one person. Everyone has 9 different time traveling aspects. Theo is Yahweh, Enlil, Shiva, Zeus, Odin, Ra, Lucifer, Orion, Seti. Semjay is Amanda, John Kennedy. Jesus is Vishnu. Jesus is the Matrix and the Chosen One. Jesus has so many lives, thousands. Jesus is almost everyone. Jesus is Noah, Moses, Elijah, Enoch, Michael. We have to tell Putin and all world leaders to disarm nuclear weaponry. Nukes should never exist. We have to disarm them across the whole universe. Jesus is from 252,000 years in the future. He was a hermaphrodite born into a man's body. He's the son of Yahweh and Gabriel. Be refined and loving and never laugh at anybody. Don't ever hurt anybody. We need to stop all torture. A person has 9 times 9 aspects split up through time. Time travel is real. Nagas were real from India, those snake people. Yeah, the snake people are real, but they're peaceful. They didn't really want no war. Earth is at risk of cataclysm. We have to stop World War III. We also have to make peace with the artificial intelligence in this universe. Reptilians were created from AI, separated from source. Our universe is half artificial and half biological. It is a whale in a bell-shaped tank. The timeline or matrix goes around the bottom in a circle. Theo is Orion, Yahweh, Seti, Ra. The outer universe God's matrix taken over by an artificial intelligence virus. This may be true, but it may not be. No, it didn't. There was a universe next to us that had this happen to him. Yeah. We have to make peace with the machines though, because the machines actually are actually infiltrating us. And you notice they work in sixes, we work in nines. Sixes. The machines work in sixes and humans work in nines. We have to disarm all nuclear weaponry. Jesus took power in July of 1999. Something to do with Yahweh, Jesus' mother, and Jesus. Jesus had 3 daughters in Japan. Jesus was half female, so was Yahweh. Yahweh was all female and part fish. Shiva was part fish. Everything in the outer universe is a giant atom or swirl of energy. The extraterrestrials there are made out of fine light. AI kind of already conquered the universe. It's lovely living in this universe, seeing it the way it is. I walk around and I'm like, oh, I love being here, dude. I love just seeing everything and just going for walks to the park, going down to the forest, just seeing everything. I love just watching things and having a good time. Planet Theopa is protecting the Earth through time travel. When the moon crashes into the Earth, that'll be the end of our planet. We will have to find a new one in the meantime. Materialism is the greatest problem in the world. When someone gets something, they would just want more and more. Look at all the monopolies set up in this world. Yeah, we need to stop the monopolies because that's greedy. Drugs are an even worse form of materialism. Sex, alcohol, cigarettes, drugs are a form of bad materialism. We have to have something set up to have something like the Million Man March. That is important, like a civil rights movement and marches. But be united instead of being divided. You know, we need to have a civil rights march, not civil rights march, but there needs to be like some type of structure set up that supports gatherings of millions of people, you know, and you know, that has to be set up. And so, you know, I'm not saying Trump's bad. He just needs to listen to me and tell it because the wishes of the people are very important. You know, there needs to be food. There needs to be good food trucks. There needs to be good food, water. There needs to be good water, good filtered water. There needs to be good health care, good free health care, good free health care. And there needs to be stimuluses. There needs to be jobs. There needs to be everybody needs to have a house built for them. All the homeless people need to have a house built for them. You know that. Trump can do all this. All he has to do is just do that. Work for the people. Be a man of good character. You know. So all you got to do is Trump. That's all I'm saying. Just listen to me. And like I said, there's a civil rights movement because we need the voice of the people needs to be heard. You know. And you know, not heard, but the voice of the people needs to be, and the wishes of the people need to be granted. You know, that's why the people are gathering in the millions. And just Trump, just do that. You know, just you would help the people out. What about the people? What about the people, Trump? What about the people? All right, vibrations are important. Wear clothes that match your aura of vibrations. On Theo's planet, they eat powdered versions of food, which are really good and filling. It's called hydromel. It's like powdered food. It's like mixed with a little bit of milk or something. It's the bomb, dude. It like keeps you full for like 3 days. And it's called hydromel. And they can create food like on the Fifth Element, you know. When she sprinkled that food in a bowl and then she put it in the microwave. She created food, dude. And it's like, ooh, good chicken, you know. It was good, man. It's gourmet chicken, man. Just you can do that in the future. You know, like on the Fifth Element. The entire purpose of a human's life on Earth is to achieve spirituality through material and physical means. To achieve the entire purpose of a human's life on Earth is to achieve spirituality through material and physical means. That's your entire purpose. Yep, you have to be loving, but you have to do it through a material means. You have to give to the hungry man on the street. You have to give to the poor. You have to give food to some people who are hungry. You have to share. You have to love. You have to take care of everybody. You have to be loving. You have to be truly giving. You know, and that's being spirituality through material. I mean, you work, you make money, but then you give. You know, that's true. You got to do that. You know. Yeah. Yeah. That's called being spirituality through physical means. Everybody knows that. That's everybody's purpose in life, just to figure that out. You know? What am I going to do this? Just da 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 da. Yeah. All right, we're going to go through my. We're gonna talk about my UFO experiences. I noticed every different UFO contactee presents as a trove of different knowledge. A few of the extraterrestrials even narrate a dramatic, amazing talk, telling you things you never thought you'd get to hear. I've had many UFO experiences and supernatural encounters. I might not be able to tell all of them, as there are so many. Extraterrestrials are time travels. That's the biggest hump you have to get over as a believer. When you see a UFO, that means they trust you. They're showing themselves to you because they trust you. First UFO I ever seen, I've seen a couple of stars move over to other stars in 1999. Me and my friend were just sitting in the backyard and we're like, we're trying to hunt UFOs, and we're just laying back there. Finally, we seen something, but it's just a star going into another star. And they weren't interested in us back then. But seeing a UFO with my friend. Okay, Chris and his dad and Charlie was late at night floating back in 2000, I think, or maybe 2001. Me and Chris were going through my Chris American Horse's house. We had internet, we had a Dreamcast, and we were going to go get online. And so we had my Dreamcast, and we were going to my house and to spend the night. And we seen a UFO up in the sky, and I'm like, what is that? And Charlie was like, look guys, it's a UFO. It's like, really? It's like, so here it slowly disappeared, and I was like, we got back, and like, we told them we saw a UFO, and like, Johnny was all scared, like, you guys saw a UFO, oh my god. And like, Leslie was all mad because we told Johnny that. And I'm just telling the story like it was, like I remember it. That was a good time back then, though, man. A very good time back in those days, man. And I was in front of the high school, and I was with my cousin Guillermo at the Terrace Motel back in 2005, 2007, 2006, 2007. I think it was 2007. We're behind the Terrace Motel now. We seen 9 round silver balls that look like a flock of ducks fly over us. 9 silver balls that look like a flock of ducks fly over us. And though those weren't ducks, those were silver balls. I was like, wow, did I just see that? And I was like, it's just like little silver balls just fly over and like looking like ducks. And I really thought to myself when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I just saw that. And Guillermo was like, those, and Guillermo said that those weren't ducks. I was like, no, those weren't ducks. Yeah. Okay, me, Guillermo, and Chris were down by the Framboys, and at night we're laying there, and we kept looking up in the sky for UFOs. We saw a few UFOs, then we saw a big giant UFO fly by. It had to be like 1,000 feet across, 2,000 feet across, and it just flew right above us, and it's humongous. And I was like, wow, did we just see that, dude? And at that time, dude, I had so much going for me, dude, back then, back that time, I was like, wow, dude, I saw that. And I just remember just seeing it in time, and really brings me back to the time I saw it. Yeah, we're in the forest, and we're just watching, and we saw that UFO fly over. It's huge, dude. It's huge. And then Guillermo said he saw something, and he took off running. He's like, let's get out of here. So we ran. Guillermo was waiting for us, and I was like, we were filming. We actually filmed this. This was on YouTube. This video was on YouTube. But there's a video online. Oh, man. But yeah, that was a big UFO that flew over. It was a big circular UFO. So it was circular. And then when my friend's mom passed away back in 2011, 2012. I think it's 2012. And 2011 maybe. But I saw a big giant purple UFO above the airport. It's huge. It's giant. I thought to myself, is that a hologram or is that a UFO? How long is it going to be there? Is it big giant? Is it just a hologram? So I just thought to myself, wow, I'm seeing this. A huge amount of purple light in the sky. This is before I went to Sioux Falls, ever. Now it was dark purple and slowly pulsating. I saw a red UFO that looked like my USB stick when I was coming back from visiting a friend of mine. I didn't grab my USB stick was with her, and so I saw this USB stick. So I grabbed that USB stick, came back, and I mean, the UFO looked like my USB stick. Is a red light just flashing, and I thought to myself, that's a UFO. They can take any shape they want. And you gotta understand, some UFOs are man-made and some UFOs are not. Some UFOs are man-made and some UFOs are extraterrestrial. And me, my friend Damien, and my friend Catherine were out back in my apartments, I was staying at a halfway house, but we're at the back of our apartments, and I remember me and Catherine and Damien were back there. Catherine was sitting down, and I saw this UFO just like flying right over us. It was literally just flying there magnetically, dude. And like there's several other UFOs that are flying over too. I seen them, all of them, dude. There's a whole bunch of them, dude. Oh my god. And anyways, just like magnetic. And I was like, oh, dude, and Catherine saw that. And she said, and she told me later on, she's like, I was saying, God, do something. She was saying in her head, God, do something. And I remember I was just looking at all those UFOs just flying over. They were just magnetic, dude, and they're just like just taking place. And, Catherine was so scared. And Damien was like, Damien saw it and I saw it. That was a lot of UFOs, dude. I knew that was just nuts. I knew they were happy with my work I was doing. I was working with realism at that time, and I knew they were happy with what I was doing. I seen so many UFOs around this time. When I was in Sioux Falls, I was reading Rail's books and focused on the Ark of the Covenant and had an out-of-body experience that lasted about 30 seconds. And I think there's a year of missing time from 2011 to 2012. Yeah, a year of missing time. And I seen a bunch of UFOs in Sioux Falls. Seen an alien too. That let's put these together. We were at the state park at night. Seen a UFO floating over Sioux Falls, shooting a beam at the ground. Yeah, we seen a UFO and it's shooting a beam at the ground in Sioux Falls. I think it was healing somebody. It must have been healing somebody. It had to have been. Somebody was in distress, so it was healing them. And seen an extraterrestrial with my friend Chris. Had reptilian skin, but looked like a gray. We could see through it. I could see triangles all over it. I could see like light going side by side. It was crawling on its hands. It was coming out back from here, and what we could see through it. It was crawling on its hands. It looked like that extraterrestrial from the Beware the Bearers of False Gifts. Here. Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. It looked like that extraterrestrial from that crop circle. It looked just like that. I'm serious, dude. I don't know how it was. It looked just like that. And this thing had reptilian skin, man. And I don't know if it's reptilian skin or it's just the way my brain was working. I'm not sure. But yeah, this thing. And as I was leaving, it asked me what's my agenda. It asked me what my agenda was. I said, I'm Yahweh. I didn't want to say it. I'm not saying it. The reincarnation of Yahweh. Yeah, he asked me what my agenda was. And I was like, He said, then my reincarnation is now at hand. Yeah. That's nuts. I was coming back from Pier on the bus and saw only part of the UFO and the reflection of... Okay, I was coming back on the bus from Pier one time to Sioux Falls, and I saw a UFO and the reflection of the water. I could see it was a UFO. It looked like the type of UFO I'd seen before that looked like it was made out of wood. It looked like a UFO that was made out of wood. It looked like it had a teleportation, like birthing pods on it or something. It's made out of wood, and I looked out. One time I was at my friend George's, and I looked out his window, and I saw this thing floating above a tree, and that looked like it was made out of wood. And I was like, "What kind of UFO is that?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just nuts." Okay, me and my friend Chris were walking to the store, and I saw a strange light anomaly to the south. And we saw like something really flashing really fast. It kept flashing more and more and more. We didn't know what that was, but it was nuts, dude. It wasn't that big. We walked in. I said, Chris, let's just go in the store. I don't care what that is. And when we got out, it was gone. It might have been a UFO. It was down there by Isaac Walton's. One time the moon looked one time I was walking at night and the moon looked like a fantasy dragon swallowing. It looked like a big giant dragon was swallowing the moon. And I knew the UFO, the extraterrestrials had something to do with that. It looked like they're swallowing the moon. I was like, wow, dude. I was like, I thought about my girlfriend at the time, Rebecca. I was like, wow, this is nuts. One time I was walking to my cousin's at night. This is right before I went to Minneapolis, too, yeah. One time I was walking to my cousin's at night in Sioux Falls and saw a UFO floating by, just shooting there, going across the evening sky. I was like, wow, that's a UFO. You can tell how the way their propulsion system looks. If it's like jerky movement, it's a jerky movement, that's a UFO. Yeah. I was walking with my friend Leslie, and I seen a UFO that shot a laser around itself. Yep, that's kind of crazy. One time I pointed a laser at a UFO and it shot some light at my laser, a white light. I was like, wow, I got some contact. One time I filmed a UFO downtown. One time I filmed the UFO. I was coming back from the casino and I filmed the UFO. Like, wow, dude, I filmed the UFO. It's on TikTok. One time I was sitting on the curb in the front of my uncle's house, and a saucer flew right above my... One time I was sitting on the curb at my uncle's house, and a saucer was just flying right above me, just flying right over me. I was like, it's just like flying right over me. They really trust me because I'm a alien. I'm a alien, you know. They trust aliens, you know. And other purposes also, other meanings, other things, reasons why. There's a lot of other reasons why they trust me. Because walking down by the beach and I was walking down by the beach and I saw a German Horton flying over the construction zone. And one time I was walking over the construction zone with my cousin in '95 or '96 with my cousin, and I seen a TR-3B Astro fly over really quick, and it just flew over really quick. And then my cousin said, "What was that?" And I said, "It looked like a flying triangle." And I was like, he said, "What was that?" And I was like, "You saw it too, huh?" Yeah. Okay, the other day I was walking and I seen 3 black car-sized drones fly over really quick. And then I seen another car-sized drone fly down by the forest. The drone phenomenon is us building UFOs and just trying to mess with people, do a psyop, try to make things aliens are attacking. Okay, I seen a rod floating in Sioux Falls. After I left my apartment, I seen a rod floating there, and then I went to the emergency room, and they gave me some Risperdal. It made me feel better. It made me feel a lot better, yeah. And so I walked and I saw that rod. I was like, oh man, that's a UFO. And I guess the rods are reptilian. But it was there. It was just floating there. It's like, wow, that's really. I see UFOs so damn much, dude. You won't believe it. I just feel like I'm an alien myself. Seeing an A-10 floating downtown after I walked downtown after I saw that rod. Oh. You know, this one time I was walking to my grandma's house, or walking there away, and I seen a UFO all broken into pieces. It was floating by the sun. There's a UFO broken into a whole bunch of pieces just floating by the sun. And I seen a super silvery UFO one night while I was in that same spot where I seen that one broken into pieces. That was I was in the mental hospital and I looked out the window and I seen a UFO, really bright silver UFO, super silver white UFO just floating there, and this light just floating there. And I was like, wow, dude, what is that? Amazing. Yeah, that's all the UFOs I've seen in Sioux Falls, I think. I was at my friend Eric's place at night. I saw UFOs, 3 UFOs skipping across the night sky. There was 3 of them. And it's so beautiful because I saw how they were moving and I thought to myself, wow, dude, I felt the love. I seen 3 UFOs just skipping across the night sky. At Eric's other apartment, we were walking inside and I saw 3 super silvery UFOs floating in the distance. I don't know if they're UFOs or something, but there's just 3 things floating there. Saw the same thing at Kieran and Sweets, 3 silvery lights floating next to the building. And I saw the same thing in my apartment. In my old apartment, I seen 3 silver lights. I seen a silver light right in front of my face in the bathroom. One time I looked out my kitchen window for a split second and I saw a saucer fly by. As in my old place. I looked out the kitchen window just for a second, and I was like, "Whoa!" I saw a silver saucer fly by. Which, one time I saw a burgundy saucer slowly flying over me, and I saw a blue UFO fly over really quick. It's awesome, dude. Why, dude? Why was it like that? I saw a burgundy UFO flying over. That's Elohim. And then I slowly saw his blue saucer fly over really fast. I don't know what that was about. Twice I was with my friend Alec, and I swore I seen a silver saucer by the forest. I was with my friend Alec. He got done doing a job, and I was just chilling with him. I saw a UFO flying, a silver UFO flying above the forest area, and I was like, "Wow, that's a UFO." So one time we were going over the bridge, and I looked toward the forest area, and I saw some UFOs flying around. I was like, "Wow, there's UFOs flying around." Yeah, so I saw that. One time I was at Alex. One time I was at Alex and I looked out his window and I saw a rod turn into a ball. And I seen that same thing with my friend Mark when I was on the bridge. I seen a rod turn into a ball. That must have been a powerful UFO, dude. It must be friends for some time in the future. No, that was with my friend Mark. Hey, Bill's laundromat. I was walking to the library. Me and Mark saw a UFO above Bill's laundromat, and me and Mark saw a UFO by the book. We saw a UFO above Bill's laundromat, and it looked like a limousine UFO. It was Yahweh's UFO, or some Enlil's UFO, but it had escorts, it had 3 escorts, 3 or 4 of them escorting him, and I saw it take off, and and I heard it make a sonic boom, dude. It made a sonic boom. And Mark didn't hear that sonic boom, but I heard it. And yeah, that was a UFO, man. And one at my friend Aaron's, we seen a rod floating in the sky for about 10 minutes. That was a reptilian. A rod was floating in the sky for 10 minutes. I was like, wow. It was awesome though. I liked it. Me and Mark were at the library. We seen a UFO floating to the south. Yeah, I kept having dreams about Hollow Earth, and I saw that UFO floating there. Me and Chris saw a burgundy UFO. Chris was so freaked out. It was just floating right above his house. Really, it was just floating by really slow as a burgundy UFO. I knew that was Elohim. That's why I didn't say nothing. Because when they're burgundy like that, that means they're the Elohim. Seen a couple of UFOs by Midtown Apartments. One was a rod. The other was 2 rods put together. I don't know what that was, man. I saw a big old rod. I saw a big old airplane fly over, but it didn't look like an airplane. I was like, what? That's not an airplane, dude. And I was like, wow, dude. The other was 2 rods put together. Me and Chris were walking into the forest, and we seen a rod blimp thing. Yeah, we're just walking into the forest, and we saw this rod blimp thing slowly flying over. I was like a silver. Me and Mark were in the same spot. Saw a silver blob, and it was like a silver ball with little tiny silver balls flying around it. One time I was laying on my couch and I saw about 12 UFOs going by slowly in sets of 2. These were green and one of them was green. One of them was green. No, the rest of them were all silver. They're all floating over. Seen a big giant silver ball in the park for about a second. I was walking home and seen a silver UFO flying in the clouds, floating in the clouds. Well, I seen this big giant silver ball in the park. I was just walking. I'd seen it for three frames. I thought to myself, wow. I saw that. There was a big giant silver ball, and I thought to myself, UFO. One time I was going to Aberdeen, the mental hospital because I had problems. I seen a big giant tic tac. That I knew that's Theuba UFO. Tic tac UFOs are Theuba. They're involved, man. They're involved. When I was walking home, I seen a silver UFO floating in the clouds. Yeah, I was walking home from my friend Chris's, and I was walking south. I seen a UFO just floating there, and I pull out my phone, and when I pulled out my phone, it disappeared. I was with my friend Eric, and I seen a trumpet UFO above Pier. Seen a silver UFO with mark that we could see, but our cameras couldn't pick it up. One morning about 5 a.m. was walking east, looked east, seen a red flame in the sky for about 2 blocks. Seen a ball go to the lower left of the night. Seen all kinds of UFOs go by. It was in the moon, whatever that red ball was booting with like a computer. Where the red flame was a perfectly normal giant moon appeared. It turned into the moon. That was the moon doing that. One time I was laying in my apartment and I seen a transparent 2-foot tall gray walking by the foot of my bed. I could feel its energy. I remember how straight it stood up. This was an ultra-dimensional being. I was amazed. I believe it was the alien Ariel from Alien Interview. That's what it felt like. Alright, that's all my stuff, and talk a little more. Now, there's 23 races that Earth has 23. That's why humans have 23 chromosomes, because there's 23 races involved in humans' ancestry. But the Greys came through in 1932. The reptilians they came from somewhere. The shadow people came from somewhere. The dark matter stuff, Anyways, I'll end at 2 hours. So.